Hello everyone and welcome back to my creative ego. Today I am making a Filipino dish called lumpia. So this is one of my all-time favorite dishes to make and it's potluck time. So I wanted to share with you guys this easy, simple recipe, and it takes a little time to wrap, but honestly the recipe itself is so super simple. So I hope you guys are all ready to become magicians because these things are going to disappear right before your eyes because that's how delicious they are. So let's cook up some magic. And like any great magician, we're going to need some volunteers. Do we have any willing volunteers? Of course we do, because we're going to need 3 garlic cloves, 1 medium onion, 2 carrots, and 2 celery stalks. So I took all these vegetables individually, put them in the food processor, and they look like this. So if you don't have a food processor, don't worry, you can mince this on your own. And now that we have all of our vegetables prepped, we can go ahead and start adding some spices to the mix. So you'll need 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon, you guys know what I mean. A 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 bay leaves. So I'm using 1 pound of ground beef, and this is all pre-cooked. So you'll find that there's so many different variations of lumpia. Some people prefer to use like raw meat or raw seafood. I prefer to actually pre-cook all of my meat. So I like to add in 1/2 cup of dried cranberries. What? 1/2 cup of dried raisins. So I know it might sound a little weird to add these things to it, but you know what? All of my friends and family, my coworkers, when I made this for them for the very first time, they really, really loved it. I made a vegetable version, but they told me to bring this one back. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. It's actually a 50-50 version of my mom and my grandpa's recipe. And a tablespoon of soy sauce. So let's get cooking. We're gonna saute everything in a pan, so we're gonna need some oil. So I put in the ground beef, and then I'll sprinkle in the garlic and the onions, and then I will stir that all up, of course, because we want everything to have a good mix in here. So we're also going to put in the carrots and the celery. And then for the spices, we're actually going to just put all those in at the same time. After you're done with that, we're going to add in the raisins, or rather the dried cranberries first, and then the raisins. And then we're going to top that off with a tablespoon of soy sauce. So mix that all together. So this process is complete. We're going to turn off the stove. And now this is what I usually do after that. I prep a bowl, and then I put a strainer on top of that, like a metal strainer, because this is going to be hot. You don't want to use a plastic strainer. And then I'm going to transfer all of the mixture into this. Now I'm going to go fishing for some bay leaves. We started with 2, so we definitely have to find 2. We're going to take these out because they're just for flavor. So you may wonder why I'm straining all of this, and that's because, as you'll see here, it does have a lot of moisture in it, and so we just want to strain it out because the more moisture you have when you go to wrap it, that's just actually going to break your wrapper up. So you want to make sure that this is dry. It's going to be a little bit of a wait time, about 2 hours. I know it takes a while, right? But believe me, you're going to have a really crispy lumpia when it's done. Hi, I'm back again and ready to talk about the wrappers. So once again, lots of variety of wrappers. You'll find this in the freezer section. It will say lumpia wrappers, or it'll have something like this written on it. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to have to separate these. See, it comes in a really thick pack, and they're all kind of like together. And then when you separate them, they're kind of like these paper thin sheets. But when you're separating them, you want to be super gentle about it because you don't want to rip the wrapper. I would say that, you know, when you buy something and then they have like the little barcode sticker and then you're trying to gently peel that barcode sticker off, that's kind of like the same concept here. So you want to go slowly, and it definitely helps if you start from one corner. It's any corner, you choose any corner that you want. And you just kind of got to do this like 20 to 25 times because that's how many wrappers come per pack. So let's go ahead and get rolling. I use about 2 tablespoons of the mixture, and I put it towards the bottom, as you can see here. And then you're just going to line everything up nicely. And when you fold this, you're going to take the bottom flap and lift that up. And you're actually doing a tuck and roll motion. You want to make sure that this is tight, but you don't want to rip the wrapper. So just be gentle with it. Roll it up till you get to this point in which we're going to actually close up the right and the left flaps. And if you can, you actually want to try to get it to that 90-degree, kind of like an envelope, and then fold that up more. So when you get to this point, you have a few options. It'll definitely tell you on the back of the wrapper packaging, what you can use or what you should use. So some people use water, other people use a lightly beaten egg. It's up to you. I'm just going to use water, and this is actually where you see these lines here. This is where I'm going to put the water. Basically, you're just going to dip your hand in the water and trace these lines. Simple, right? Finish rolling, and now you're done. And again, repeat this process 20 to 25 more times until you get something like this. So now we get to fry everything all up and make it crispy, golden, and yummy. So like I said, all the ingredients inside are already pre-cooked. So we're just really waiting for this golden crisp on this lumpia. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your lumpia in the pan. You're gonna wait until the bottom gets like a really crisp, solid bottom before you even flip it for the first time. Because if you keep on flipping it, it's going to actually break the wrapper, and you do not want that. So wait till you get a nice good golden crisp on the bottom. Go ahead and flip it to the other side, get a golden crisp on there, and then you can kind of flip them around until you get the texture that you want, because once again, everything's already cooked on the inside. When it's cooked, go ahead and take it out, get a plate with some paper towels and let it drain on there. And as you can tell, this was already full, you guys. You see all these missing gaps in here? That's because people will come and eat it. Even though it's piping hot, they'll still come and try to eat it. But don't do that. You want to actually wait till it cools down a little bit, because you want to be able to taste this. So you want to save those taste buds of yours, right? Again, lots of different variations on the sauces that you can make or buy. You can actually mix this with sweet and sour sauce, hot chili sauce, or you can actually use a mixture of vinegar, fresh garlic, and some black pepper. I personally prefer to eat it with soy sauce and lemon with some rice. And technically, you know, you're supposed to just eat this with your hands, dip it in. Preferably don't double dip unless it's your own, but you know, I'm not judging. So like I said, you're not supposed to eat it with a fork. You can if you want, but I'm just doing this because I want to show you guys how crispy this is. So I'm actually going to stop talking and start eating. So that does it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys love cooking, shopping, crafting, or just plain chit-chatting, don't forget to check out my channel, My Creative Ego, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful day.